It's almost like she's printing money so that she never runs out of bucks to pass. But, Mr. Speaker, if the Finance Minister and the Prime Minister believe that this is a crisis, what is she prepared to do to deal with it?
Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the member opposite would have Canadians believe that inflation is a made-in-Canada problem. But experts agree that this is an international challenge that all of our peer countries are facing too. In fact, last week, even the leader of the opposition admitted that rising inflation is, quote, a global phenomenon. So I have a question to offer for the member opposite. Who is the real voice of economic policy for the Conservatives? The leader of the opposition, or the deputy leader, or maybe the member for Carleton?
Honourable member for Portage-Lisker.
Let me take the Finance Minister back to a meeting that she had just this Friday with Canada's most senior economists, that maybe she wants to ask them some questions and take their advice. Most of them agreed this government is making the inflation problem worse. In fact, BMO Chief Economist Doug Porter said, I think at the margin, there are some things fiscal policy can do. Fiscal policy, that's the federal government's responsibility. And that's basically to take the foot off the accelerator. So, Mr. Speaker, what that economist was saying is the government is contributing to the crisis. So take responsibility, and what are they going to do?
Hear, hear. The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to quote another economist I respect very much, and I think Stephen Harper respected him too, because Prime Minister Harper appointed him to be Governor of the Bank of Canada. Stephen Pallose was asked in a weekend TV show whether he thought Canadian government spending was the cause of inflation. He was unequivocal. His answer was, I think that's not right. He's right. The Conservatives are wrong.
The Honourable Member for Portage-Lisker.
What the Finance Minister is saying then, that this government has absolutely no control and have no ability to deal with inflation in this country.
Yikes.
That is a big F right off the start, a fail for this government. So, Mr. Speaker, I believe the chief economists and experts in this country, what is the government going to do? Will they at least admit that they're in government? They should have an answer for inflation. Are they going to do anything or just throw up their hands and say, not our problem, too bad everybody, keep paying high costs because the Liberals don't care?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me quote Governor Pallose, an economist respected by all Canadians, further. He was asked whether the support we offered at the height of the COVID recession was the right thing to do. I quote, what the stimulus did was to keep the economy from going into a deep hole in which we would have experienced persistent deflation. Read a book or two about the Great Depression in the 1930s and realize what was averted when we went through this. We know we did the right thing. Let me quote the governor and urge the Conservatives to read a book or two and understand that.